Have you ever stopped to think about what is happening inside your head right now? Not your thoughts, not your memories, not your emotions. The organ making all of those things possible. At this very moment, hidden inside your skull, nearly 100 billion cells are exchanging information through trillions of connections. Electrical signals race through microscopic networks. Chemical messengers leap across tiny gaps. Entire regions activate and cooperate in fractions of a second. And from this extraordinary activity emerges everything you have ever experienced. Every sight, every sound, every memory, every fear, every dream, every decision. The human brain is often described as the most complex object in the known universe. Yet, despite centuries of study, it remains one of the most misunderstood parts of the human body. What exactly is the brain? How is it organized? How do billions of neurons work together to create thought, memory, emotion, and consciousness? And why are modern discoveries forcing scientists to rethink many of the assumptions they once held about the human mind? Let's explore one of the greatest wonders of biology, the human brain. The average adult brain weighs about 1.5 kilograms. It is composed of roughly 86 billion neurons, along with an even larger number of supporting cells called gliae. Although it accounts for only a small percentage of total body weight, it consumes approximately 20% of the body's energy. This remarkable organ operates continuously, day and night, while you work, while you sleep, even while you are unaware of its activity. From the outside, the brain appears as a wrinkled mass of soft tissue. But beneath that surface lies an intricate system of specialized structures, each performing unique functions while constantly communicating with one another. The largest part of the brain is the cerebrum. This is the region most people imagine when they think about the brain. The cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Although popular culture often exaggerates their differences, both sides work together constantly through a massive bundle of nerve fibers known as the corpus callosum. The surface of the cerebrum is called the cerebral cortex. This thin outer layer is folded into countless ridges and grooves. Those folds are not random. They allow a greater amount of neural tissue to fit inside the limited space of the skull. The cortex is responsible for many of the functions that make us human: reasoning, language, planning, decision-making, creativity, self-awareness. Scientists traditionally divide the cortex into 4 major lobes. At the front lies the frontal lobe. This region plays a central role in planning, judgment, problem-solving, personality, and voluntary movement. Behind it is the parietal lobe, which helps process sensory information from the body and contributes to spatial awareness. Near the back is the occipital lobe, the primary center for visual processing. Every image you see is ultimately interpreted here. On the sides are the temporal lobes, which are involved in hearing, language, memory, and aspects of emotional processing. Yet the cortex is only part of the story. Beneath its surface lie structures that are equally important. One of the most fascinating is the hippocampus. Named after its resemblance to a seahorse, the hippocampus plays a crucial role in the formation of new memories. Without it, experiences can occur but fail to become lasting memories. The importance of the hippocampus became dramatically clear through the study of patients who suffered damage to this structure. Some retained memories from earlier in life but lost the ability to create new long-term memories. Every day became a present that continually disappeared into the past. The hippocampus acts as a kind of memory organizer. It helps transform experiences into stable neural patterns that can later be retrieved. It is deeply involved in learning, navigation, and the construction of personal history. Close to the hippocampus lies another remarkable structure, the amygdala. The amygdala plays a major role in emotional processing, particularly emotions related to threat, fear, danger, and survival. When you suddenly hear a loud noise, notice a threatening face, or encounter a potentially dangerous situation, the amygdala helps determine how significant that event might be. For many years, scientists viewed the amygdala primarily as the brain's fear center. Today, researchers recognize that its functions are far more complex. It participates in emotional learning, social behavior, attention, memory formation, and the assignment of emotional significance to experiences. In reality, memories and emotions are deeply interconnected. Events that trigger strong emotional responses are often remembered more vividly. Part of the reason is the close interaction between the amygdala and the hippocampus. Together, they help determine not only what we remember, but how we remember it. But none of these structures could function without communication. And communication in the brain depends on neurons. Neurons are the specialized cells that transmit information throughout the nervous system. Each neuron consists of a cell body, branching dendrites that receive information, and an axon that sends signals to other cells. These signals begin as electrical impulses known as action potentials. When a neuron becomes sufficiently activated, a rapid electrical wave travels along its axon. At the end of that journey, the signal reaches a synapse, a microscopic gap between neurons. There, the electrical signal triggers the release of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These molecules cross the tiny space and bind to receptors on the next neuron. Electrical becomes chemical. Chemical becomes electrical, again and again, trillions of times every day. Through these interactions, enormous neural networks emerge, networks capable of perception, language, memory, movement, emotion, and thought itself. For much of the 20th century, scientists believed that the adult brain was largely fixed. Once development was complete, the structure of the brain was thought to remain relatively stable. But modern neuroscience has revealed something extraordinary. The brain can change. This ability is known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's capacity to reorganize itself by strengthening existing connections, weakening others, and sometimes forming entirely new pathways. Every new skill, every new experience, every new memory leaves a physical mark on the brain. Learning a language changes neural networks. Practicing a musical instrument reshapes motor regions. Recovering from injury can cause entirely new pathways to emerge. The brain is not a static machine, it is a living, adaptive system, a structure that continuously modifies itself in response to experience. This discovery has transformed neuroscience. It has changed how scientists think about education, rehabilitation, mental health, aging, and even human potential itself. Yet, despite everything we have learned, many mysteries remain. Scientists can observe neurons firing. They can map brain regions. They can identify circuits involved in memory, attention, and emotion. But one question continues to challenge researchers. How does physical brain activity become conscious experience? How do electrical signals create the sensation of color, the feeling of love, the awareness of being alive? How does matter become mind? No one knows for certain. The brain has revealed countless secrets. But perhaps its greatest mystery is still itself. What we do know is extraordinary. Inside your skull exists a living network of staggering complexity, a structure built from cells, chemistry, and electricity, a structure capable of imagining distant galaxies, composing symphonies, solving equations, remembering childhood, and wondering about its own existence. The human brain, the most complex organ in the body, a masterpiece of biology, a universe of connections, and one of the greatest scientific mysteries ever discovered.